Hey, welcome back to another action figure video. This time around I have a review of the entire Wave 12 of the DC Universe Classic series from Mattel, and these figures all come with a piece of the Build-A-Figure, which is Darkseid. This is Iron, one of the shiny metal men created back in 1962. Iron was of course a robot, but he was a good guy. He would help out the Justice League once in a while. So Iron has two accessories. The first one is this wrench that he came with, which fits very tightly in his fist. It's kind of a silly accessory, but you know, he's a robot that can change form into these giant accessories, so that's why he came with a giant wrench. And I'm going to pop off this little mace thing here as well. Yeah, there we go. So he's got this little ball on a chain, and that's very nicely done, though. The chain itself is pretty strong, and that fits right on his fist as well, of course. So taking a look at Iron's articulation, he does have some basic articulation, as you can see there. He doesn't have the most amount of posability, especially the chest, of course, because he has no ab crunch. He's got no need of one. He's meant to look like a... you know, like the Tin Man, like an Iron Man with basic mobility. So that works very well for this figure, I would say, overall. He does have some nice knee joint bending and ankle pivot as well. Up next we have Mary Batson. We can't call her Mary Marvel because Marvel owns that, but she does have the power of Shazam, as she shared it with her brother, Billy Batson. And she's very fragile, I gotta say. She's probably the slimmest of all the female figures I've ever seen. The paintwork is interesting. The cape is probably my favorite part, though, because of the way the white and the yellow don't bleed into each other. Mattel, their painters, did such an amazing job on this figure, not letting it bleed into it. Unless I got lucky, I don't know. There's also a white variant of Mary Batson out there as well, so good job overall. I'm impressed. Next up is Eclipso, the Wrath of God, the former Angel of Vengeance who was later replaced by the Spectre. Now, he appears to be the Bruce Gordon version, and just showing off some of the basic articulation, which a lot of these figures are known for. He's pretty awesome, you know. This is one of the reasons why I fell in love with DC Universe Classics, is because of the awesome articulation and a good paint job. Alright, and there is the black diamond. I'm going to try and keep that in focus. It's more of a purple diamond, really, but there's a great story behind this. I wish I had time to go into it, but it's basically, it tricks the user into thinking they have the power. Up next is Copperhead, who's got some awesome looking paintwork and sculpting on the face. I love that. He's one of the lesser known villains in the DC universe, but he is mainly known for making a deal with a demon. I think he was a former thief. Yeah, he was a former thief who made a deal with a demon, and that basically made him this snake-like creature who's able to poison people. But anyway, I love the paintwork on this figure. I can't say that enough. So Copperhead is the same articulation, as you might have guessed, as the other DC Universe Classics for the most part, and he's got some really cool articulation. His joints were really tight when he first came right out of the package, so that's really cool to see. He's got the typical ankle pivot, along with the knee bend, and he's not loose in any place. Some of these figures come out of the package a little bit loose, but not Copperhead. He came out really tight, and that's really awesome. Up next is Dr. Midnight and his spooky owl. So this is the Charles McNider Dr. Midnight, I believe, or it could be the more modern one, I'm not sure. It could be the Peter version, I'm not positive. Somebody let me know in the comments. But he's definitely one of the charter members of the Justice Society of America, one of the original members back in 1941, and he's a really cool character. He's the first blind superhero as far as I know, or at least he can only see at night, I believe was his deal. Here is the owl, who actually has a head swivel, although you can't really tell from the shot. I'm a big fan of the way that they painted and sculpted this little guy. They did a tremendous job. I've seen a lot of animal, you know, sidekicks and whatnot. Well done. You can see the line there with the head swivels, but this one is really awesome. One of the best I've ever seen, especially from Mattel. Great job, guys. Alright, and here is the Spectre. Now the Spectre, if anyone is not aware, is a character named Jim Corrigan who was a cop who was murdered along with his woman as well, and he came back as the new Wrath of God. He replaced Eclipso. Now as I'm showing off the articulation, I think we all know by now you know, what kind of articulation to expect. He does have those kind of cool winged boots there as well, and the cape is in this nice one piece, just like Dr. Midnight. I am a huge fan of this character, as he's kind of invincible. There's really no way to beat him. Well, there is, but it's rare to find a character that has the power to subdue the Spectres, so he's super cool, and he glows in the dark. So here I have the two Justice Society of America members together side by side, and as I mentioned, the Spectre glows in the dark, so I wanted to show that off right next to Dr. Midnight here, as he likes the dark as well. So here we go, I'm going to shut the lights off. Sweet. It shows up pretty well on camera. It looks even better in person, of course, as he's got that sweet glow-in-the-dark paint. This is DeSaad. Now, DeSaad is Darkseid's minion, his right-hand man, his evil scientist, whatever. He does not come with a piece of Darkseid. He does come with a base. And he's based on the Superpowers version from 1985, so 30 years ago. He's looking pretty sweet. I'm very impressed with him. So DeSaad has some limited mobility, as you can probably tell. The elbows do bend, and the knees and the ankles pivot, but those little plunger controller things that he has in his hands don't fit very well. The wires are nice, and the backpack is cool, though. I like the front piece. It's very Superpowers, as it's meant to be. As you can see, the controller just pops right into the hands. He doesn't have a very good grip on those. And finally we come to the Build-A-Figure himself, Lord Darkseid, the evil ruler of Apocalypse. He's got some basic articulation, as you might have guessed here, but some very cool work, I'd say, overall. I really like the sculpting of the muscles and the way that the knees bend. They do go up a little bit. He is pretty limited overall, but he is a big figure. He's a little loose in some places, but that's cool. I can't say enough about the paint, though. Great job. Alright, let's take a look at one of the accessories that Darkseid comes with, which is the mother box, or is it the father box, actually? I've been told it's the father box, not the mother box. It allows Darkseid to teleport and do all sorts of evil things. Here is the second accessory that Darkseid comes with, which is his golden power glove. I don't know exactly what it is. I've never seen it in the comics myself. I'm a pretty big DC fan, but if you know what the deal is with this, let me know. I guess he can channel his Omega power through his fingers as well as his eyes. So that's what I'm guessing it's for. Pretty cool. Now, let's take off the hand, remove it here, and just wanted to give you a little demonstration of this. As it pops off very easily, it's got a nice ball peg there, and I wouldn't worry about that snapping or breaking. It's very, very strong. Very happy with that, Mattel. They always make very strong, durable figures. So there you go, piece of cake. No problem putting on the golden power glove, and he's ready to play Nintendo. No, he's ready to conquer the world and look for the anti-life equation. So again, Darkseid does have some issues, some little complaints I wanted to mention. There is a little bit of looseness with this Build-A-Figure, which I think is pretty typical of Build-A-Figures. I mean, you are snapping them together yourself after all. You got to expect a little bit of looseness, a little bit of shakiness there, especially in the legs and the feet. The thigh, that's not really an ankle rocker, as far as I know. It's just an ankle pivot up and down, but it's a little loose, and that's a little disturbing. There's some interesting work at the bottom of the feet, too. There's the ab crunch, which is awesome, and that's huge. So that's really, really cool to see. I'm glad it's not just a one piece. So he's got more articulation than I would expect, but he's a little loose, a little more looser than I was hoping for. Thanks again for checking out this quick DC Universe Classics Wave 12 collection. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and for subscribing. And if you have comments, questions, any suggestions, anything you want to see, let me know. Until next time.